You're listening to Soberoso, a show dedicated to alcoholics, addicts, survivors of abuse, overcomers of great tragedies, and those of us with mental health issues too. Each week, we invite guests and listeners from around the world to listen in as we have casual conversations with regular people like you and me who've, against all odds, turned their lives around. If you're a family member of someone suffering from alcoholism or addiction, a newcomer or old-timer, or sober curious, this show is for you. Join us now on the Soberoso podcast with your host, Dora Gosselin, in sharing our passion for recovery.
Hello, beautiful peeps. Thank you for joining us today on the Soberoso podcast. I am your grateful host, Dora, and I'm so glad that you're here. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. And if you are a repeat listener, thank you for your continued love and support. I was sitting here thinking the other day, our last guest we had on joined us from Edmonton, and his name was Matt Gardner. And there was something that he brought up. He brought up many good things in our conversation, but one of the things that he brought up was about delaying happiness. And I thought I should talk a little bit to you guys about that today, because I know that there was definitely points in my life where I felt that way. So can you relate to me? Have you ever thought or wondered, or maybe you still do, like, I'll be happy when I get that job. I'll be happy when I get that girl or that guy, or I'll be happy when I buy that house, or I'll be happy. Have you ever delayed or put your happiness at a future point in time when you accomplish or achieve materialistic possessions or people or stature in life? I know for myself, I suffered a lot with depression, and I was also very affected by the cold rain in Vancouver, Canada. If you're from Seattle, you'll know just what I'm talking about, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about if you're from Vancouver area as well. But when it rains here, it gets very gray and very gloomy for long periods of time, and there's nothing you can do in the rain. So I started realizing that I would often say to myself and to others, when the summer comes, my life will get better. And I said that for years. When the summer comes, my life will get better. And I would literally be waiting for the rain to subside and hoping that on my day off from work, the sun would come out on that day. And I tell you, I was very depressed, and come to find out that that's a thing. Seasonal defective. No, it's a thing. It's called SAD. Look it up. Anyways, like, you know, when you're affected and depressed through the seasons of the year. So I found myself to be one of those people. And going back to the point at the beginning of this intro here is that I was delaying my happiness. I was delaying my happiness on a time in the year when I could feel good about myself. So, there was points during that time in my life where I'd actually go to a tanning bed, not to get a tan, but just to feel like the light and the warmth on my skin. And I didn't know, I didn't have the same knowledge that I have today. And, we weren't talking about mental health or these kind of issues back then. So it wasn't like I could just identify, oh yeah, it's because, the rain gets me down. It was just, the rain really affected me. So have you ever found yourself wondering or thinking or talking or telling others that you'll be happy when? Are you delaying your happiness and your joy to a future date and time, if that sounds like something you're doing, I implore you to try and reevaluate those thoughts, revisit those thoughts, because what I have learned in my recovery journey and over the years is that our happiness doesn't come in the form of other people. Our happiness doesn't come when we get what we want. Our happiness comes from within. Our happiness comes from within. We are all responsible for our own happiness. And that can take a lot of unlearning and relearning to get to that point where you can realize that. But that's a little bit where I'm at on my journey, and I hope that you can get there too. Boy, it's a game changer when you realize that other people are not responsible for your happiness, that you are responsible for your happiness. Happiness is an inside job. And every single day and in every single moment, even going through a bad time, we get to choose how we are going to react to the situation. And we get to choose if we want to be happy or if we want to wallow in self-pity and doom and gloom. So it's all very achievable, but you are responsible for your own happiness. So take charge of that. Try to figure out what are some of the things that make you happy. Like for myself, I know for me to be happy, I need balance in my life. Balance in my life comes from doing a little exercise, eating right, getting outside in the outdoors, feeling the sun on my skin, getting some socializing in. I need all these different elements to feel balance in my life. And that's where I also find my happiness. So what makes you happy? Do something for yourself every day. What else might make you happy? If you listen to my interview with Julia in Yelapa, Mexico, we talked about this amazing recovery retreat that's coming up on December 3rd to 10th this year. It is taking place in Yelapa, Mexico, and it is an 8-day retreat to empower your recovery. It is going to be absolutely amazing. Your ticket includes your accommodations, meditation, yoga practice, nutritional planning and meals, vegetarian meals supplied to you 3 times a day, beach time, hikes to waterfalls, and it is just going to be a marvelous way to empower your recovery in the beautiful setting of Yelapa, Mexico, which is to die for. It is a place located just outside of Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. You get on a little boat, about a 20-minute ride, and when you get off in Yelapa, there is a little town that's developed there, but there are no cars. No cars, none, not even one. There are horses, there's donkeys, there are houses, there's people living there, there's restaurants, but everything is these cute little walking trails, and you're like where the jungle meets the ocean, and it is a magical place. So I am going to put the link up in the podcast description here so you can find out more information on how you can get there. There are only 4 or 5 spots left now. So if you'd like to join us there to empower your recovery, I would love nothing more than to meet you when you get off the boat in Yelapa, Mexico. So please check that out. It's at www.vicarawellness.com. And be sure when you're looking at that retreat to mention Soberoso. And with that, you only have to put 20% down to hold your spot. So please check it out. I'd also love to tell you a little bit about some of the guests that we have coming up. I am looking forward to interviewing and sharing a beautiful woman who I have been following on Instagram. Her name is Carrie, and she is a self-love speaker and coach. And she has an amazing background with finding self-love and acceptance herself. And I'm looking forward to sharing that interview with you, because self-love is a big part of getting clean and sober. You know, self-love is not selfish. And when we choose to get clean and sober, we are choosing a better way of life. We are choosing to love ourselves when we get clean and sober. So I can't wait to share that interview with you guys. Carrie, it's going to be good. I also just got off of a call with Claire from I just got off a call with Claire from Rehab Barbie, and her and I are going to be collaborating, Soberoso and Rehab Barbie, on some clothing items, some fashion designs. And she is based out of Brooklyn, New York. Please look for her, follow her on TikTok and Instagram at Rehab Barbie. And I look forward to sharing an interview with you guys and all of our collaborations. So this has been a short episode. I'm so glad that you guys are tuning in. And until the next time, stay safe, stay sober, and to thine own self be true.
Please hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening to the Soberoso podcast and help us normalize conversations around alcoholism and addiction recovery. You can join us on Instagram and Facebook at Soberoso. You are not alone, and we do recover. Wear and share your passion for recovery with our His and Hers merch. Visit us at www.soberoso.com.